are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud-Desmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better bettor.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another segment of Steer Line. I'm your host, Christian Giordani. Alongside with me, we have Jeremy James, our fantasy football guru, Loud-Desmond, our professional sports handicapper, and Rocky Giordani, our ex-professional athlete. I'm going to start off the show with a little fun fact our producer Sean told us about 5 minutes ago. Get the Derek Carr out of the way in the beginning.
Derek Carr!
Number one fangirl over here down below us. Derek Carr is 2 losses away from the Panthers, or is a loss away from the Panthers and the Raiders to be the only quarterback to lose to every NFL team. Jeremy, let's get on with this and forget about Derek Carr. Let's move on to the NFL draft. We got through the first 3 picks last week. Going ahead, we agreed almost everyone's going to go with the quarterback.
I want to read you.
All right, go ahead, Loud.
Something popped up today that I think ought to be very concerning for people. Caleb Williams declined all medical exams and was refusing to share his medical history and health records with any of the teams. And he is not doing any on-field workouts at the combine and will only do a pro day at USC.
You're muted, Rock. You're muted, Rock.
Anybody have any reaction to that besides me?
Yeah, I don't think it's that. Rocky, you're muted. I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. A lot of guys are doing that this year. They're skipping.
Player ever to do this.
There's multiple players that are waiting to do their medicals this year. They've been talking about, and guys who aren't going to lift or guys who aren't going to, do anything out there. They just showed up to meet with teams and moved on. These guys, it's a different world now with the fact that, they're coming in already with endorsement deals and money being made. And they're saying, you know what, you saw what I did for the last 2, 3, 4 years in college. I mean, Marvin Harrison didn't do a thing on the field or talk to anybody really. He just went there, said hello, and left. Because he's letting his play on the field speak for itself. The combine's not a requirement for anybody. They're invited, and that they decide what they want to do, and it's going to be more and more like this as time goes on.
It's the health record things that concern me.
Not about the combine. A lot of guys declined to go to the combines. The guy with the fastest 40 time today got a injured hip. Wiggins, he's probably out for the first week or 2 of the season. So, yeah, I mean, but the medical records, this is unfounded. He won't turn over any of his medical records. He was supposed to show up today for physical, and he didn't do it. Somewhere in Baltimore, I think, and he didn't do it. That's different, and not turning over any of your medical records. It certainly is suspicious. Loud, do you think there's some underlying injury he don't want to share? Or?
Well, here's the thing. I'm in the PR business, okay? There is no upside to him doing this. There's no upside at all. It's a prima donna move. It looks like he's hiding something. And I'm sorry, if you're asking me to invest the future of my NFL franchise in you and you're pulling this crap, I'm rapidly losing interest because, like you and I discussed on the show the other night, if I'm going to make that kind of investment and somebody's going to be the face of my franchise, not only do they have to be athletically gifted, not only do they have to be smart, not only do they have to jump out of the tape when I have to jump off the screen when I watch them play, they better have character at least as good as Derek Carr's. And if they don't,
mute the man.
Then
kick him out.
No way. There's no way I can't do it.
Here's the thing though. Look at it from this point. He knows he's going to be the number one, if not number one, number two pick. And he's going to talk to those teams who are going to be at 1 or 2. But he's going to know soon enough if he's going. He'll give them what they need. Why does anybody beyond pick 3 need to know his medical history? They're not going to have a shot at drafting this kid. Why does the entire NFL need his medical history when all he needs to do is talk to the Bears and maybe Washington and say, here's my medical, because that's where he's going.
Jeremy, it begs the question, what is he hiding?
Yeah,
so
it also
what is the upside for doing it, Christian?
There is no upside for doing it, in my opinion. And secondly, to answer Jeremy's question, the only other teams that would need to know is Chicago or Washington. I don't think so, because that pick is still up for trade with almost every team in the NFL right now. So it would be in his interest, if he is healthy, to show his medical records, because you could land a much more favorable situation than being in Chicago. So in my eyes, he is hiding something.
By the way, on the flip side of this, Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Said on Friday he believes he has shown the NFL talent evaluators and has put the questions about his health behind him by sharing all his medical records with every NFL team that was interested.
There you go.
So the kids are going to start doing different things differently as they head into the NFL now.
Yep.
They're coming in with sponsorships. They're coming in with all kinds of people already in, they're already at people in the air, but now, I mean, they're coming in with money and deals already set, ready to go. They're going to start doing this kind of thing more and more.
And
when
when
Penix was asked if any teams had requested additional tests given his injury history beyond the standard physical exams, he said, no, we shared everything with them. If anybody wanted extra, I'd be willing to do it. Okay, Rocky, who are you more comfortable with? Michael Penix Jr. or Caleb Williams?
Well, yeah, Michael Penix Jr., because of what you just said. I know he's not hiding nothing. I'm sorry, but I don't know if Caleb Williams is as good as he's rated. But even if he is, if he's going to be like that, how can you have him on your team? Why would you want a guy like that on your team? Prima donna. I want part of the ownership, man. I want to be the guy in the locker room. Well, listen, respect isn't asked for. It's earned, man. You don't demand respect. You have to earn it. And he's doing everything he can to dig himself a big hole. I think he's going back to college. I think, like Christian said, I think he's going back to college.
Yeah. Michael, just so everyone knows, Caleb Williams has the option to go back to college. As he is a junior, he will be going in as a fourth-year senior.
And when I said last week that I thought he might do that, you all said I was crazy.
We come around to your way of thinking.
I wasn't here last week.
I think he's just
2 weeks ago.
Yes.
He
sandbagging the Bears. That's what he's doing. The whole thing is sandbagging the Bears.
He would be able to go back to college all the way almost till draft day, I believe, until about a 24-hour span before draft day.
Wow. Well,
does this change? I heard today, Dan Orlovsky on First Take has for 2 days been saying the best thrower of the football in the draft is J.D. Daniels. Now, I saw a lot of J.D. Daniels because I follow LSU pretty closely, especially because the former Irish coach is now coaching LSU. And I enjoyed watching LSU lose a bunch of games because I think him leaving Notre Dame the way he did was BS. And so I'm sort of rooting against LSU now, which is weird because I'm a Saints fan. So, figure that out. Anyway, he put up a lot of gaudy stats, but against crap competition, he played well. And then when they played really good teams, they lost. Drake May, did anybody see much of him play for North Carolina? Because I didn't, because they didn't play in a lot of high level games. And I'll say it again. The best quarterback play I saw in college football last year was Michael Penix Jr. Hands down, bar none. And the guy has character like you can't believe. Whoever gets him in the second or third round is getting the steal of the draft.
Now, back to your comment about Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky was at practice with when he was on a team and saw all the other quarterbacks throw, and he thought he should have been the starter. So I don't really take his opinion about quarterbacks.
Okay. Yeah, everybody thinks
Yeah.
they're the guy. Just saying. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Christian. What else you got?
Okay,
on the rundown for the program.
Let's go on ahead and advance to the draft a little bit. Jeremy, I know you weren't here last week, but we went through the first top 3 picks. We're just gonna briefly skim through the top 10 going up ahead. And right ahead at number 4, we have the Arizona Cardinals. What is the biggest thing they need to address loud?
I don't believe they have a franchise quarterback. They have a great athlete. I don't believe he's a franchise quarterback because I don't think he is an elite reader of defenses and ball distributor and the guy that's going to check you into the right play and the right protections.
Yes, Kyler Murray is not a franchise quarterback by any means, in my opinion, but the biggest flaw in his game is that he's not a leader. He won't lead a locker room.
Yeah.
He'll run away from adversity. We've seen it before. He did it when he wanted to go to the MLB, but I don't think this is the year for them to look for a quarterback. They still owe him about $185 million going forward for the next 3 years. So write out the contract for as long as you can get.
They're stuck with him.
They're stuck with him.
You asked, okay, the question that you asked was, what's their biggest problem?
Yeah.
You didn't ask me who should they draft. Their biggest problem is they have the wrong guy at quarterback. Who should they draft? Well, if nobody takes Marvin Harrison Jr., then that's who you're taking.
Yep.
You got the 4th pick, and the 3 quarterbacks go first. You take the best player left. That's Marvin Harrison Jr. 100%. He goes to Arizona, no doubt.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think that's the pick there. Like you said, they're in on Kyler for now. They have to be. So why not build around him? You know, if for whatever reason they don't go Harrison, they should go offensive line. But I think Harrison is definitely the pick.
If they decide to go offensive line, the guy that they need to pick is Joe Alt, left tackle Notre Dame.
Joe Alt is a beast.
Barring injury or something catastrophic, Joe Alt will start at left tackle for somebody for 15 or 16 years and be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah, he's that good.
The Jets better hope he falls to them.
Yes. Going ahead to the 5th pick, the Los Angeles Chargers, just to say, who are in cap space hell with $25.5 million over the cap this year and $35.5 million next year. What is the biggest thing they should address in this draft, Rocky?
You got me, man. For starters, they just hired the wrong coach. I'm sorry. And I think they're in trouble no matter what they do. They better not even think about trying to do anything to keep their quarterbacks. I think they go try to get another receiver when they need, probably a defensive back.
Well, here's the question though: are they going to pay Austin Eckler? How many running backs?
He's gone.
No, he's gone.
He's a free agent.
So how many running backs are going to be out there available? Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry. Yeah. I mean, there's like 10 of them, right? 3
or 4 more.
Saquon Barkley.
Right.
And a lot of guys that aren't getting mentioned are some talent out there as well. Both of the guys, I mean, coming off an injury, but J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards out of Baltimore, the kid who was in Detroit and then Philly last year,
right?
DeAndre Swift.
Swift's available.
Yes.
25 years old, so.
Yeah.
But no, he won't be back there. I think what they're going to do. Harbaugh likes tight ends.
Brock Bowers.
Is
that was the biggest thing.
I think Brock Bowers is you can almost lock that in for he's a weapon, and at a position that Harbaugh covets. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to, I think that in the second round, as deep as this wide receiver class is, they can get another wide receiver in round 2. They're not going to get a better tight end than Brock Bowers, who's really the guy that seems like the biggest game changer at tight end in this draft.
Yes,
I'm watching the combine right now. I just saw a 6'8" and an 8 over 6'8", 268-pound tight end run a 6'6" 40.
Yep. And just so everyone knows, Brock Bowers scored the highest out of anyone in the combine so far this year, a 96%, which is an elite status Only guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase have scored that high in the combine. Going ahead.
Okay. By the way, I saw something about Patrick Mahomes tweeting that he wanted the NFL to stop using his 40-yard dash.
Yeah, and then they used it again.
Yeah.
Okay, go into that for me, because I thought I saw like him and this giant offensive lineman, and he lost to him. Is that what that's about?
Well, yeah, his 40 time, what were you at, like a 4.84 or something like that at the comp? Was it?
Yeah, he ran like a 5.2.
It was something unimpressive, and they like to put him up against all, anybody that they can to make him look, silly. Put him up against all offensive linemen and 350-pound defensive linemen and stuff like that. And, yeah, it's pretty funny.
At least it's not as bad as Chris Jones' 40-yard dash. For all those who know what I'm talking about, that was a entertaining 40-yard dash, to say the least.
So
Chris Jones, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, Chris Jones, Kansas City Chiefs. A piece of him fell out of his shorts during the 40-yard dash. His third leg came out.
That's funny. By the way, this is a betting show, right?
Yes, it is a betting show.
All right, so can I throw out a little sports betting stuff for real quickly?
Yes.
So I went to St. Mary's College in Moraga, California. The St. Mary's Gales, and by the way, that campus has less than 5,000 people on it. The St. Mary's Gales are always a little competitive in the Western Conference, WCAC. They are ranked 17th in the nation right now. They have the number 2 overall defense in college basketball, allowing only 58.5 points per game. Their big rival is Gonzaga, the Bulldogs from Washington State, and St. Mary's beat Gonzaga in Gonzaga by 2 points in a hotly contested game with a lot of late fouls and technicals and fans throwing stuff onto the floor by 2 points 2 weeks ago. Now, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on ESPN National, the Zags are taking on the St. Mary's Gales. By the way, that is Gaels, Gales, which means an Irish night. It's Gaelic. Not Gales, like wind blowing. Or breaking wind, as Rocky would say. Yeah, so I'm saying Gonzaga plus the 2.5 points tomorrow night. That game is the kind of game that the St. Mary's Gales always lose. They have won 14 straight. They're undefeated in conference play. They beat Gonzaga 2 weeks ago in Gonzaga. Tomorrow night, they're going to step on their crank at home and lose to the Bulldogs.
All right.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, let's go on ahead.
Christian, Patrick Mahomes ran a 4.8. Larry Allen, the Cowboys lineman, ran a 4.85. That's got to be the remember, and he was fast. Remember when he came across the field and tackled that guy?
Yeah.
That's a clip forever. He almost outwent Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. All right. So going ahead with the 6th pick, the New York Giants. I think they should draft a quarterback. Daniel Jones' experiment failed. I think they should bite the bullet and take the $40 million off and straight out cut him. Jaden Daniels is right there for the pickings. Loud, what do you think about it?
Who were your first 3 picks last week when I wasn't here?
It was Drake. It was Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels. You're right.
Okay.
I have a mock draft where Jaden Daniels falls all the way to 6th in front of me right now. But Loud, what do you think the Giants should address with the draft this year?
I am not out on Daniel Jones. I'm not. I think he has shown flashes. He's had such a rocky road and such bad coaching and such a horrible offensive line, bad defense. I mean, the guy's had nothing going for him. They have so much money invested in him, and they're not ready to win anyway. So what are you going to do? Bring in somebody as quarterback and have them play for a crappy team? Here's the thing that matters. I'm sorry. the kid who went first was not CJ Stroud, but
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Bryce Young, he went to a Panthers team that is flat out terrible. CJ Stroud went to a Texans team that was okay, and he was able to improve it. Is CJ Stroud that much better than Bryce Young, or is it that they both went to totally different circumstances? I mean, if Derek Carr had been drafted by a much better organization than the Raiders, he could be a Hall of Famer. So,
but he's not.
Matters where you land. So, no, I'm not done with Daniel Jones in New York.
All right, we're not going back to Loud again for the rest of the show because
I think they take a wide receiver, Christian.
Yeah, wide receiver.
Yeah, I'd say Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors.
Yeah,
that should be their pick. He's the top receiver in this draft after Harris. I mean, there's some really talented guys, especially in the first round. And yeah, I think Malik Neighbors would give them a weapon they haven't had in a long time.
That means Joe Alt from Notre Dame is available at number 7 for the Tennessee
Titans. Yes,
they'll take him.
Yeah,
100%.
As they should.
Yeah, probably the best tackle in the entire draft. All right, we're gonna step away from the draft for a little bit. I know we're only at 7, but we have about 5 minutes left in the show, and I want to get into free agency. We talked about Chris Jones a little bit last week. It looks like his annual pay going ahead is going to be close within the $29.5 million mark. There's only about 15 teams that could afford that, and 10 of them being realistically. Jeremy, where do you see Chris Jones going?
And Kansas City is more committed to keeping the cornerback than they are to him.
Yes,
no, I don't believe so. I think that was a tag. They tagged him and then gave him the option to go out and find a trade. I think they're doing that because they want to save money to keep Chris Jones in town. They don't want him to leave. Yeah. I believe he is going to end up staying in Kansas City. They will find a way, because when you talk about an impact defensive player, yes, Snead was great. And if they can find a way to bring him back, they will. But I think the reason he was tagged and told to go find a trade is they want the money for Chris Jones.
Yeah.
Damn, that is a genius thought from Jeremy that I had not thought about myself.
And you know what? I don't entirely disagree. They do have $3.4 million in cap space going this year.
All right, so here's the question. What's harder to find, Chris Jones or L'Jarius Sneed?
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones.
100%.
Yeah.
They're going to do everything in their power to try to re-sign Jones. I think a team in the AFC West is going to be trying to sign him, like the Las Vegas Raiders, just to get him out of Kansas City.
Yes.
How much cap space do the Raiders have, Christian?
The Raiders this year have $42 million in cap space.
And that's before they release Jimmy Garoppolo. They'll save a little bit. They're like $12 million this year, I think, or something like that. Or
I can
$8 million.
Well, I think the Chiefs.
I tell you what,
they're like halfway in the
Raiders. If you are the Raiders, you are moving heaven and earth to try to sign Chris Jones.
Heck yes.
So
I think Kansas City's.
Oh, by the way, there's no personal income tax in Nevada.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
No state income tax.
And to answer Jeremy's ploy about cutting Jimmy Garoppolo, if they cut him before June 1st, they will save $11 million. If they cut him after June 1st, they will save $24 million going forward this year.
Yeah, so I mean, where they are with the cap, they may designate him a post June 1st cut, and they still have plenty to work with, or maybe they just go ahead, get rid of him.
And you know what else? If I'm the GM of the Raiders, I'm going to throw so much money at Chris Jones, and I'm going to force Kansas City to match it or exceed it.
Yeah, they won't.
Just to put them in. No. Think about it from the Raiders' perspective. If you can't pull him away, make him as expensive as possible for the Chiefs, right, Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get the Chiefs to freak out and invest a whole lot of money, and then they got a great player, but the cap hit is going to be huge for wherever he goes. So yeah, if you can run up the price on a guy, even if he doesn't end up coming to your team, run up the price a bit. Yeah, and if you're willing to pay him, put it out there.
The price is going to go up already from $33 million. We know that. I think Kansas City's come to the realization we can want Chris Jones in this hand and poop in this hand and figure out which one's going to fill up first. Obviously, they can't keep him. They're going to tag Snead and let Jones.
Well, no. Now you and Jeremy are in total conflict then.
Yeah, I don't think they're
Jeremy
going to pay
said-
$35 million. They're not going to pay him $35 million a year. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Yep. Well, one more free agent we're going to talk about. Mike Evans is probably the best wide receiver free agent on the market. He's looking to get about $17.5 million going in. He's in year 30. He's 30 years old going into next season, I believe.
You're 30.
Yeah.
You're 30. Oh my God,
Ooh,
he's
wait.
60 years old in the NFL.
Yeah, he's going to year 11 next year, so he'll probably be about 30 years old. What's the number one team on your mind? I think he stays in Tampa Bay. I think he's going to retire Buck for life.
1 minute.
Jeremy, Loud, Rocky, any other opinions?
No, I don't know. I don't think Tampa Bay can let him go if they have any confidence in Mayfield at all. They have to keep his wide receiver. I don't know what they're going to do about Evans. Kirk Cousins is a free agent. There's a lot of them, but I think Mike Evans has to stay in Tampa.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think Tampa would be the best spot. Keep him there with Baker if they do bring Baker back. But if Baker moves on and they decide we're going to rebuild altogether, moving a 30-year-old wide receiver, not paying him.
If Baker moves on, he should be to California. If you are baking, you don't have to pay the minimum wage.
Oh,
according to Gavin Newsom and the deal he cut with Panera Bread. Just throwing it out there.
All righty then. Everyone's
Is that
been
Derek Carr left? There, I did.
Yeah, go Raiders, go football.
Yeah, go Rams, go football.
Rams!
We'll see you guys next week for
Yeah,
Sure Live.
go Rams.